The meeting of March 11, 2026 of the Housing Code Advisory and Appeals Board will now come to order. The board consists of 5 members who are not employees of the city. The board is an impartial decision maker. The board is appointed by the mayor with approval of the city council. Your board members are myself, Brendan Fisher, chair. We also have Mr. Antablian and Ms. Taylor. Mr. Boyd is not here tonight. We also have Leah Billings, secretary to the board, Peter Lemos, Code and Housing Enforcement Chief, and David Kim, counsel to the board. I will now ask the secretary to call the roll.
Fisher?
Yes.
Antablian?
Here.
Taylor?
Present.
Please rise for the opening acknowledgments in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin Wintom peoples, and the people of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contributions, and lives. Thank you. May we now direct our attention to the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I will now read our purpose tonight. I would like to now explain the reason for this hearing. For items 3 through 10, we are here to consider the expenses incurred by the city in the notice and order and the repair, demolition, and securing of any building or structure done in the housing and dangerous buildings cases before us, together with any protests or objections. The question here is, are the fees, costs, or other amounts claimed by the city reasonable and justified? This board may revise, correct, or modify the proposed charges as we deem just. Once this board is satisfied with the correctness of the charges, we shall then make a decision confirming or rejecting the charges. Any written protests and related information received have been forwarded to us for consideration in our decision. You will hear our decision today and receive formal notification of our decision in the mail. Our decision will be forwarded to the City Council for determination whether this hearing was conducted in accordance with the City Code. For tonight's meeting, each item will be called in order of those requesting to speak, unless staff or board members request otherwise. The owner representative should state their name and address and explain the nature of their appeal. Please keep your appeal concise. The staff will identify themselves and provide a summary of the case, and including the recommendation, and then the owner can respond. The secretary will swear appellants and city staff in prior to each case. Now moving to the agenda. Item number 1, approval of minutes for January 14th, 2026.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Fisher?
Yes.
Antablian?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Now going to housing and dangerous buildings case cost recovery contested. Item number 3, case / Inspector Paul Lovato for address 3923 39th Street. And the speaker, Jaden Reese. As you come, please prepare to be sworn in by the secretary.
all parties for item number 3 for the property located at 3923 39th Street. Please raise your right hand and answer the following question. Do you solemnly swear under penalty of perjury that the testimony and evidence that you give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lovato.
Good afternoon. This is agenda item number 3, case number 25-027104. Property owner shows Prasad Davies R. Nasim. Property address is 3923 39th Street, Sacramento, California 95820. Parcel number 02-000-720-2300000. Today's March 11th, 2026. My name's Paul Lovato. I'm a building inspector with Housing and Dangerous Buildings. This case opened on July 16th, 2025, and the current case status is open. On July 29th, 2025, I arrived on site, and as I drove up, it shows there is a fence at the property line not allowing access to the dwelling. I took pictures of the front of the house, and a gentleman greeted me. I explained the complaint made, and he stated he was not the owner, but he would get the owner who resides in the dwelling. The owner then came out, and I explained to her the complaint made. She stated her husband had built the structure in the backyard, but he had passed away. The gentleman then asked me if I wanted to see the structure. As I went to the backyard, I could see there is a structure built in the backyard with a bathroom in it. The structure is used as storage and no one's living in it. I explained to the gentleman helping me that the structure needs to be permitted or removed. He stated the owner has no money to get it permitted, and since no one lives in it, they would just remove it. He then asked about the items stored in it. Could he just use it as storage? I let him know of the codes for a storage shed, as in it could only exceed 120 square feet and have no utilities. He then stated he would remove the structure and provide a shed for the owner. I then explained to him about the penalties that could occur. He stated he would have it removed prior to the 30 days given. Pictures were taken of the structure for the case documents. On August 24th, 2025, I received an email from the property owner's caretaker stating, this is regarding the address 3923 39th Street. Nasim Prasad has decided to remove the building from the property. We will start demolition and contact you to update the case. On September 30th, 2025 at 12:31 p.m., I arrived at the single-family residence. I took photos and updated the case files. Due to lack of contact from the owner and failure to obtain a Housing and Dangerous Buildings permit, I issued the notice and order. I also ordered a cloud be placed on the title and a title report done. On November 6, 2025, after receiving a call from the tenants that they are removing the unit in the backyard, I visited the site and I see that 3/4 of the unit had been removed. The itemized total for the cost is notice and order was $1,360, termination fees $190, and the title cost is $47.50, with a total of $1,917. The notice of the Les Pendants Cloud was properly recorded at the Sacramento County Assessor's Office on November 20th, 2025. The property owner was contacted prior to issuing the notice and order. The preliminary letter was sent July 29th, 2025. The notice and order was sent to the property owner's address listed on the current title report, 3923 39th Street, Sacramento, California 95820. It was effectively served on October 3rd, 2025 by substitute service. The notice and order was not appealed. The appellant has received the information being presented this evening. Staff recommends that the board adopts a decision confirming the total charge of $1,917.50 for the notice and order on the property known as 3923 39th Street, Sacramento, California 95820, parcel number 02-00720-2300000. Thanks.
Thank you. Appellant Reese, please state your appeal. Oh,
Mine's not on either. Can we confirm that your green dot is on?
dot, yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe just move it just a little closer.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, my name is Jaden Reese. I am the caretaker for Naseem Prasad. Naseem Prasad is not here today due to being in a mental health facility. I am now fully aware of the current situation with the housing. What he said is true. We are basically just trying to get a better understanding because as of this month, the family had contacted me who lives out of the country, and they had asked me if I could help take care of their mother again. And with her being in the mental health facility, we're trying to figure out everything and see what we could do to help her. So we're just trying to see what the costs are, if it is any grounds, since she was in and out of the hospital and out of care facilities. I do have documentation of that. And then if a payment plan or what her options are.
Thank you. So I'll open it up to the board for any questions or comments.
I guess I would just start with Inspector Lovato. The last thing I'm seeing on this is November 6th. So is this property still incurring, and I always get it wrong, the monthly monitoring fee? So I think the bigger question is going to be here. Sorry, that is bright. The bigger question is going to be every month that this goes by, you're going to get that monitoring fee of,
It's $380 for the monitoring fee, and it's $1,000 for the administrative penalty.
so it adds up. So I think the bigger issue is, let's first talk about what is the long-term goal?
Well, the structure has been completely broken down. When we saw the site and everything, I believe that we could get the case closed where there is still a load of the debris, I guess is how you would say it, that needs to be taken off the property. Right now, I still don't know what the long-term goal is. My long-term goal right now is just how can I assist her? Also, since I am now going to be living on the property again, that is a situation that, okay, I would like to see if there's a possibility to start making payments or how, figure out the cost of it. But also, I'm not sure because I don't know her long-term situation.
Okay. Do you think realistically you'd be able to finish it? Because my concern is you're going to keep getting $300 and some dollar fee every month this isn't taken care of. And I'd like to see if we can fix that before just finishing this case. I mean, we could rule one way or another, but it doesn't matter on this because your fees are going to keep going.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep seeing you here if you keep appealing.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that for your benefit that we address this. So the reason I ask is part of whatever we suggest could be part of the recommendation. So do you think you could take care of this within 30 days?
Yes, I
Have it
think.
completely taken?
Yeah, we could get it completely taken care of within 30 days, yes.
What, Inspector Lovato, when was the last time a monitoring fee was issued on this property?
The last time one was issued was, February 26th. So the next one would be around the ending of this month.
Okay. So what I would say is, yes, there are payment options available, but before I make my suggestion and we vote, I would say, just so you're aware, the reason why these fees are on there is this did open July 16th. And so it has been close to 8 months now. And so the city does expend costs for Inspector Lovato to go out. They did give you more time than, I will say, not jealous, but more time than I got when I was cited from the city a couple months ago. So I will say, yes, I understand the fees, but there are payment plans that can be done. But when I make my recommendation here, I'm going to make a motion confirming the total, or actually, I'm sorry, before I make a motion, are there any other?
Yeah, is the reason why of Mr. Lovato, the amount is $1,917 instead of the $1,597.50 because the appeal was sent in after December 4th. That's why the amount increased to the 1,097.
This one here is for the fees of the notice and order
So none
and the title cost.
Right. I'm looking at, let me just pull it up.
There's now additional fees, a technology fee and something else that gets added.
Okay, because I'm looking at the invoice dated November 4th, 2025, and it said.
Those are the new technology fees that they added. It's 8%.
I got you. I'm clear now. Okay.
So there's a late fee because it was not received after 12/4.
Ex-
Went from 15/7
Yes.
to 19/17 based on the invoice.
Right. See, if you're looking at the bottom of, it's on number 21, the appeal was sent in after December 4th. I just had to verify that. Thank you. And that's why it's 1917 and not 1,597.
And then she gave us this prior in case we had questions, because this just came out for the additional fees if we have questions. Or did you give him one? Is it? Oh, sorry. Okay. Because we can't, so then we couldn't, so I need to write that down then. So instead of the 191750, it can only be, what is it?
1597.50.
I see, right.
Okay, so the motion will change. Thank you.
All right, before I make a motion then, are there any questions? You're good? All right, so while I understand the fees and the issues that are going on, I'm gonna meet what I consider to be halfway. So I'll explain after I do it, but I'm gonna make a motion confirming the total charge of $1,597.50 for the notice and order on the property known as 3923 39th Street, Sacramento, California, 95820, APN number 0200 00720230000. In addition, I'm asking that the city give, I'm sorry, what was your name?
Jaden Reese.
Jaden Reese.
Jaden Reese. Miss Reese, a 45-day from the last monitoring fee. Is that from the 26th? So we give her at least another 30 days from today's date to get this addressed.
About 30 days from today's date. Does that work?
That'll work. And that's it.
I second.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. There's no third. My apologies.
Brandon, you second?
Yes.
Okay. Fisher
Yes.
and Tablian?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so by meeting at least, we're going to uphold the total. We did uphold the total of the $1,597.50. Now, you can contact Ms. Billings, right, tomorrow to set up a payment plan for that. But you at least now, because you would be getting the additional charges at the end of this month in just a few weeks, you won't be getting those charges now. So you do have the 30 days from today's date. Please make sure to work with Inspector Lovato to make sure it gets taken care of, though. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Jaden, if you stop and talk to Frances, she may have a payment plan paper for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Call us tomorrow.
You're just the next that I was.
Oh, your fingers. Yep. Item number 4, Case Inspector Jason Martinoni for 7920 Deer Lake Drive. Speaker Summer Rose. Please direct your attention to the secretary to be sworn in.
If I could have all parties for item number 4 for the property located at 7920 Deer Lake Drive, please raise your right hand and answer the following question. Do you solemnly swear under penalty of perjury that the testimony and evidence that you give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I did.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Martinoni, please begin.
Housing and Dangerous Building Program Appeal Hearing, report to the Housing Code and Advisory Board. This is item agenda number 4, case number 25-029683. Property owner, Summer Deanna Rose Living Trust. The property address is 7920 Deer Lake Drive, Sacramento, California, 95823. Parcel number 119029600300000. The hearing date is Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, and city staff presenting is Jason Martinoni. This case was opened on August 5th, 2025. On August 25th, 2025, an initial inspection at 9:30 a.m., I arrived at the single-family residence for a scheduled inspection due to the complaint. Added a room to the house. There is also leaks coming from the ceiling. The plugs are sparking, and the owner does not want to make repairs. I met the tenant and was given permission to inspect the interior and exterior of the structure. There are multiple violations present. The water heater is leaking, electrical junction boxes in the garage are missing knockouts, the living room and bedroom fan lights are not operating properly, the kitchen lighting is not properly installed, it needs 3 inches minimum clearance from the insulation and cannot be in contact with the light fixture. The rear enclosed patio has been constructed without the benefit of a permit or inspection. There are exposed conductors not properly installed in raceways, feeding the outdoor lights. On the back porch, in the rear bedroom, there are outlets that are burnt and damaged. In the front living room, there is an extension cord being used in lieu of permanent wiring. The tenant stated that this is an SHRA house and provided me with the SHRA Housing Authority owner's service number to try to get in contact with the property owner due to the address for the property owner being the location at 7920 Deer Lake Drive. A Buster preliminary letter was sent and photos downloaded into the electronic case file. On August 25th, 2025, at 9:10 a.m., I contacted SHRA Housing Authority Owner Services and spoke to Judy. I informed her that I needed to get a message to the property owner in regards to the violations that are present at the property. I provided her with my contact information so she could pass it on to the property owner. This is the only contact info for the property owner that was provided. On September 26, 2025, I performed a re-inspection at 2:15 p.m. I arrived at the single-family residence to follow up on the present violations that required a permit to correct. There has been no contact from the property owner after sending the preliminary letter. The structure does look vacant. Tenant has possibly moved out. Photos were downloaded into the electronic case file and a notice and order was issued. This is the penalty being appealed today. On October 6, 2025, I talked to the property owner, Summer Rose, and she is submitting plans for the rear patio. She will contact me once the other violations are corrected. They do not require a permit to correct. I will follow up on the submittal. On October 13, 2025, a reinspection was performed. At 1 p.m., I arrived at the single-family residence for a scheduled meeting with the property owner, Summer Rose. All violations have been corrected in the structure except for the enclosed patio, and she has decided that she will remove the enclosed patio. I will follow up. On November 24, 2025, I performed a reinspection. The rear patio has been removed, all violations corrected, closing case. The notice and order cost is $1,360, termination fee, $190, title cost, $47.50, for the total cost of $1,597.50. The notice of less penance cloud was properly recorded at the Sacramento County Assessor's Office on November 20th, 2025. The property owner was contacted prior to the issuing of the notice and order. The preliminary letter was sent August 26, 2025. The notice and order was sent to the property owner, address listed on the current title report, 7920 Tierra Glen Way, Sacramento, California, 95828. It was effectively served on December 22nd, 2025 by signed green card. Staff recommends that the board adopt a decision confirming the total charges of $1,597.50 for the notice and order on the property known as 7920 Deer Lake Drive, Sacramento, California, 95823, APN number 1190-29600-30000, invoice number CDDCHC23091, termination cost $190, the notice and order $1,360, title $47.50 for the total of $1,597.50. Thank you.
Thank you. Appellant Rose, please begin.
So initially, I did want to make payment arrangements, so I went to Richards Boulevard to do that, to make payment arrangements. But they sent me over to I Street to do the Department of Recovery. But when I went there, they couldn't find my invoice. I wasn't in the system. So they said, just wait for it, and you'll get it. But I didn't get it. I waited like maybe another month. So I went in early October to try to do these payments. And they said, just keep waiting. And then my first invoice I received was $1210.25, which was in the amount of $1917. So the late fees were already added to that. So and then I did get a call from Alex, $1225, which was 10 days after I received my invoice, and said, I'm still not in the system. My invoice is still not in the system. And so he gave me a number to call, and I actually reached out to Jason. I sent him an email and said, what do I do at this point? And I didn't get anything from him, but I did get, they just said to go ahead and go back to Richards to appeal, and that's where I'm at now. That's where the last time I went to Richards Boulevard was to, and they just said, go ahead and just appeal, because after the $400 was added, I was kind of, stuck to, I never got to even make arrangements, which is what I wanted to do in the beginning.
Thank you. I'll open up for the board for any questions or comments.
Yeah, I have a question for Peter Lemos. Any information we can get from you?
That if she had the invoice, that they said that wasn't in the system because she has the invoice.
And I had the invoice there at the window also.
Right,
And,
so she has the invoice, so it's in the system.
And they went back and looked for it and everything and came back and just said, keep waiting. And first I thought maybe the tenant was getting the mail and I wasn't receiving it, but I did finally. Maybe that initial one, because I did get a copy from you, I think, in the beginning. And I thought that's the one I had. And then that's the one I went down there with. But and I was thinking maybe she was keeping mail, but I finally did get one, 1210. And that's the first invoice that I got. And that's when I called and was trying to make payment arrangements at that time. And then Alex called me 2 days later and said, yeah, we can't find you. And then that's when I was like, well, maybe it's because everything was closed. I didn't really know why.
Okay. Can I ask either David, Kim, or Peter? The board has the ability to waive the late fees. The late fees aren't listed on here, but is there a way that in the ruling that we can waive late fees and that as long as she contacts the city and pays this, that those late fees can be waived?
We don't address the late fees anymore here, but if you are to, if you do waive any of the total of the fee, then the late fee will be adjusted to whatever that is, 20% of that. But we cannot.
My concern with that is that the city of Sacramento did their job, and if we're lowering the fees for them, the fees,
They're issued by revenue,
okay.
so they're not, we're not addressing any of the late fees here.
How much are the late fees right now?
It went from $1597.50 to $1917.
Looks like about $320.
The math for me?
See, that was my question in the prior case. So when we ruled in the prior case, because The recommendation was the
address?
1917, and we ruled for the 1597 in the prior case. Was that in effect waiving the late fee? Because
No, we
they,
didn't address the late fee. So the 1597 is just the notice and order and everything that, you know, the title and the termination that goes along with that. And then the difference between that and the 1917 is the late fee. So we don't do, in here, we don't do anything with the late fee. That's something that's through revenue. We don't do that anymore.
okay.
But again, if you adjust the totality of the notice and order, we would adjust the late fee, the 20%, because we have to.
Yeah,
I got you.
I'd like to bring that up for board comments at the end, so I'm going to add that to my, just a reminder. And so I don't know how this works because actually I think this will be a discussion for Peter, but I also don't want to keep the rest of the team here. So are there any questions before I make a motion?
So the reason that looks like there's the delay in them getting the invoice is it's a rental and it shows as a primary address. So it's being mailed to that address. All mail goes to that address.
Okay, and that day I did change the address, but they said because I always get because of the living trust, or is that?
You have to change it with the county.
Okay, with the county, and my primary, I have to give them my primary?
Right, the county, so your taxes, everything go through the county recorder.
Right.
And that's where we pull our information. So this property shows as your primary residence. So you need to change the recorded address with the county.
Supervising Building Inspector Doug Pearson, just so the board's aware, nobody can pay for the fees on any penalties or notices and orders until it's invoiced. So we can't accept any cash until it has an invoice number attached to it. So until finance actually invoices, we can't accept any money from it for it.
But she had an invoice.
I'm just letting you know that the policy has changed recently. They have to have an invoice number before any funds can be accepted. So if she walks in there with the notice and order and the fees, people walk in all the time and try and pay, and they can't pay until they have actually, this invoice comes out.
I'll hold comment on that.
That's a recent change.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe, all right. Any other questions from the board? Yeah, I hear that. Any from you before? No. Okay, I will, so first of all, let me just say, I'm glad to see this case in itself, while the issues were definitely substantiated here by the pictures and everything, I would like to at least commend you in the August 25th opening of this case and the November 24th closing of this case. And because you did move quickly to have this, I'm definitely more apt to make sure that you don't pay any of those late fees. So with that, I'm going to make a motion confirming the total charge of, and I'm changing it to $1,277 for the notice and order on the property known as 7920 Deer Lake Drive, Sacramento, California, 95823, APN number 119029600300000.
I'll second.
Thank you so much.
Hold on, it's not approved yet.
Oh, it's not approved, sorry.
Fisher
Yes.
and Tablian.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so
Appreciate it.
we did find in favor of the city, however, we decreased the cost to $1,277. All right, and you'll receive all of this information in the mail.
Now, can I give you my primary address?
Not us.
Not us.
We don't work for the city.
I see. So the
She would need to
county,
speak with
like you
them
were
outside.
saying.
Yes.
County recorder,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem, thank you. Item number 5, Case Inspector Al Jensing, 2204 Sandcastle Way. Speaker Ray Derby, please come forward, and the secretary will swear you in.
If I I could have all parties for item number 5 for the property located at 2204 Sandcastle Way. Please raise your right hand and answer the following question. Do you solemnly swear under penalty of perjury that the testimony and evidence that you give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Jensen, please begin.
My name is Alan Jensen, Inspector Alan Jensen, work for Housing and Dangerous Buildings. This is in the matter of agenda item 5, case number 25-041497, property owner Derby Ray A., property address 2204 Sandcastle Way, parcel number 2740-3720-210000. Today is March 11th, 2026. I'm Alan Jensen. I prepared this report. This report is accounting of expenses, special assessment. The case opened on 10/29/2025. The current status of the case is closed. Do I have to hold this down? From February 2025 through October 2025, the rental housing inspection team attempted to have the listed building violations addressed and repaired through their inspection process. The rental housing team failed inspections on the property on February 18th, 2025, May 12th, 2025, August 12th, 2025, and October 10th, 2025, due to existing building violations on the exterior of the property that have not been addressed or repaired. On October 29th, 2025, after several attempts by rental housing to get the violations corrected, the case was referred to Housing and Dangerous Buildings and assigned to case manager and building inspector Alan Jensen. On November 10th, 2025, after several failed attempts to contact the property owner by phone, B.I. Jensen went to the property known as 2204 Sandcastle Way to contact the property owner and to see the visible violations. Upon arrival, I found the front gate opened and knocked on the front door, but nobody responded. So I left my business card at the front of the property requesting a call back. I could see the violations reported at the front of the property and took some photographs. On November 17th, 2025, I issued a notice and order to the property owner. On November 18th, 2025, I posted a notice and order at the front of the property. On December 12th, 2025, I returned to the property to see if I could contact somebody at the property. Upon arrival, I knocked on the front door again, but nobody responded. I left another business card at the front of the property requesting a callback. On January 7th, 2026, property owner Ray Derby called me and left a message requesting information on the case and updating me on his plans to obtain the required permit and have the repairs done. On January 8th, 2026, I spoke to the property owner Ray Derby, who informed me that he would obtain the required permits and have the repairs done by the end of the month. On January 20th, 2026, a permit was issued for a new roof, skylight, and minor dry rot repairs. On February 2nd, 2026, a final inspection was approved on permit number RES-260-1082 for the new roof, skylight, and dry rot repairs. On February 3rd, 2026, the case was closed. The total cost, notice and order cost, was $1,360. Administrative fees are $127.80. The termination fee for the cloud is $190. Title cost was $47.50 for a total of $1,725.30. The notice of les pendens, the cloud, was properly recorded at the Sacramento County's Assessor's Office on November 14th, 2025. The property owner was contacted prior to issuing a notice and order. The notice order was sent to the property owner address listed on the current title report. Posted notice and order at the front of the property on November 18th, 2025. The notice and order was not appealed. The appellant has received the information being presented this evening. Staff recommends that the board adopts a decision confirming the total charge of $1,725.30 for the notice and order and fees on the property known as 2204 Sandcastle Way, assessor's parcel number 2740-3720-210000. Submitted by Alan Jensen. I've attached the violation list, the case photographs, the title when it was recorded, the cloud, and the invoice.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen. Appellant Derby, please begin.
Okay, this is my second time ever doing this. I'm a customer since 2014.
So before you get started, the people in the back are going to say that they can't hear you. I don't mean in the room because they're recorded.
Yeah, just make
Your
sure.
microphone has to be. There we go.
I couldn't hear a thing, and I was sitting in the front row. So I'm speaking much louder than probably anyone in this room, I think.
Okay.
So the first time I ever heard, first of all, I'd like to say, when was the city of Sacramento established as a city? Like 1849, 1850? I believe that's accurate. I decided to look up when did the rental housing inspection program start? Because how did we survive? How did people rent homes without the rental housing inspection program? That started in 2008. So right away, I want to say this is just a big scam. People have been renting homes in Sacramento for 150 years before the rental housing inspection program. Absolutely correct, okay? So I just soak that in for a second. Take that in, okay? My second point is the first time I've ever learned about the rental housing inspection program was in 2014. It started in 2008. I learned about it in 2014. I got a nasty letter from the city of Sacramento basically saying, hey, I got to comply. I got to give information to you, on whether you're renting your house or not. Well, I was not renting my house. I bought the house from my mother-in-law who lost her home in Rio Linda. And so I bought this house and I put her in. Try to make a long story short, she was a hoarder. I got her out and put her in a mobile home. Anyway, so I started renting the home in 2013. So I followed the process. I filled out the appeal, and in 2014 it cost $50. I've got the receipt. You know what the appeal cost if I would have done this in October or November? $700. And I don't get that money back. And this man right here told me, you will lose. You will pay $700 and you will lose. You will lose. Don't do it. Okay. So anyways, I explained in 2014 how, just what I explained right now, that I'm renting the home. I understand the process. I've got it taken care of. And since then, I've been a customer of the rental housing inspection tax since 2014 on 2204, also on 2200 Sandcastle Way, and on 2179 Sandcastle Way. Okay. When I read about the rental housing inspection program, they talk about the city council. And so when I tried to do research about the city council and the rental housing inspection program, I looked up the Sacramento website today, and it's basically a history of housing. And it talks about COVID. And I'm going to try and make this real quick, but in the paragraph after COVID, word for word, it's crazy. You'd have to check it out. But it basically explains how white people have had the privilege of situation. Where is it? I want to read it because it's so ridiculous. Let's see. Hold on. I'm sorry.
I'm going to save you the embarrassment of whatever this is. Let's get to the relevant points of this. All right?
Let's get to the
Thank you.
Sure. So the relevance is the relevance is we'll get to Milton here. Back in May of 2025, I passed everything in the rental housing inspection program. Everything except for here's the words. Repair, replace, and repaint all dry rot damage around the exterior of the house, including but not limited to fascia, trim, and siding. Okay? So I passed everything except for dry rot. Drive around this neighborhood in Sacramento. Every other house has dry rot on the outside. Am I aware of this before Milton got a hold of me? Because remember, my stance is this is a scam. We don't need Milton. I've done this before Milton was around. So here's my proof. I hired Two Rivers Roofing Company in 2023 to fix 2179 Sandcastle Way, which I then sold. I do not own that home.
Friendly reminder, we're talking about 2204 Sandcastle Way in this case. So let's hone in for the relevance of this case, please. Sir, we are trying to help you, and we do not work for the city of Sacramento. All right? I would love to remind you that we are not your enemy. Okay? I understand. You can check your emotions at the door.
So people can hear me.
Check your emotions at the door. Okay, sir? All right. Thank you. This is how I have to speak to children when I'm working with them. Calm down and speak about 2204 Sandcastle Way. Thank you.
Okay, 2204 Sandcastle Way needed work, and I was aware of it way before Milton told me that it needed work. I have an email with this company back in 2023 saying, after I did the 2179, I said, hey, I've got a property on the same street, meaning 2204, that I want you to do. And I was going to show you proof. It's just an email saying, I want you to do the work. Okay, my point, oh, I'm sorry, is this too difficult for you to listen to? Because I did a lot of work, and you're just sitting there. But here's the point, is I fixed up 2204, and it's immaculate today, and it has nothing to do with Milton, and it has nothing to do with this gentleman right here. I was aware that it needed work. It was going to be handled. It got handled, and it did get handled. Why on earth would the Sacramento want to try and build me? Just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's all, you know. I can go more into it, but you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear how ridiculous it is.
All right, sir. You can stay, we're going to talk about fees at the end of this meeting. We're happy to talk about fees, but we are here to talk about 2204 Sandcastle Way. And I want to remind you what this meeting is for. We're not here to talk about all of these other fantastical things. We're here to talk about whether you were in accordance with city code billed for 2204 Sandcastle Way. All right? We can have our feelings about land. However, when you are a landowner, when you own a property, you have a bundle of rights and responsibilities.
I'm listening.
Okay? And part of that is, yeah, you gotta abide by this program. And part of that is, when you are not abiding by that program, we might have a city inspector called, all right? And you did not meet code, which you admitted to us. Right here, all right? And I understand we're frustrated about things.
Do you want to understand why I'm frustrated? Just give me a couple minutes. The city council in 2020 during COVID basically told tenants, don't pay your rent. And all of these tenants were going, I lost my job. How am I going to pay rent? Understand this for a second. That was my job. So if I'm not getting income through rent, but you still want me to work. You want me to pay the taxes on the property. You want me to maintain the property. And that's why that house went to crap. Because that tenant in that house during COVID, we're not talking about this because you want to be relevant, but do you want to know how hard it is to try and collect money from someone that chose not to pay in 2020? When all the courts are closed, this man knows. He told me in person he chooses not to own property in Sacramento County, but does in Placer County because it's two completely different worlds. And I know I live in Placer County, yeah. But the point is this rental housing inspection program is simply a new tax. It's a new way for Sacramento to collect revenue starting in 2008 that they didn't collect in 2007, in 2006, 2005. Yet homes were still maintained. People were still renting homes, and landlords were taking care of stuff. So this city has survived for 165 years without the rental housing inspection program. But the city thinks that they are due almost $2,000. But get this, why they want the money? Because they just gave me a time frame that they wanted it done. That would be like me saying, first of all, I've lived in Natomas since 1996, and I've watched Natomas go to crap. There's homeless people, zombies everywhere. And yet, I'm in here trying to not get fined $2,000 while there's zombies walking around when I'm trying to go grocery shopping at the corner of West El Camino and Truxville. That's why I'm a little heated. That's why I'm talking a little loud. And when I read the website that basically talks, there's 3 pages on the website about Sacramento history. Go home and read it. It specifically calls out white families about how we are the, man, I want to read it. I printed it out. I can't find it right now. But it's absolutely ridiculous. And it just got me hot. I can't believe it.
I'll just interrupt real quick and say, I understand the City of Sacramento's rental housing inspection program. The problem is, we don't work for the city, as she mentioned. We don't control. The board here, you can read it, but it has no bearing on this case.
You got to hear it. It will take 1 minute. Listen, it talks about, it's bizarre. Even though race covenants and race-based lending are no longer in practice, the effects of past practice allowed white families to more easily build intergenerational wealth while restricting communities of color from accessing opportunities and meaningful housing choice. Here's why I wanted to bring this up. This is exactly why I wanted to bring this up. I bought 2204 in 2012. Look it up, it's on Zillow. I paid $65,000 for that house. No one wanted to buy it. There was no governments, no restrictions from races of people to buy it. No one wanted this crappy property. I bought it. And not only did I buy that, but I bought the 2179 that I no longer own because I don't want to own rental property in Sacramento. I own 2200 Sandcastle that I own. Why? Because I have hobos breaking into my property in 2018 that I have to get a trespassing order in between tenants. So I sold that house in 2021. How does the city win? Remember when I said I paid $65,000? Those homes all sold for over $300,000 and up. 2179.
So we're at the conclusion now.
So I feel like that's what you guys are doing. You're just harassing a guy.
So first of all,
Give up with this house, sell it.
okay.
So the city's harassing you into maintaining your property and getting to over $200,000 of income. So, and by the way, I'm going to leave you with one piece of advice before we make our ruling. Do not, hey, sir, do not yell at people who are trying to make a ruling in your favor or against your favor in the future. So the board, it's called tone and it's called word usage. You should look it up. So the board.
Anyone talking in this room until I spoke.
What would we like to do, board?
That's all.
I'm open to whatever.
Board, we need to refocus. The reason we're here is the property was not being maintained. That's the reason we have a rental inspection program to identify property that's not maintained. He was given 5 notices by the rental property inspector, which were courtesies, before it went to a notice and order. The cost of the notice and order is the time of service and time of work of city staff that is then turned back to the property owner's responsibility. That is the sole base we're here today.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for. So, appellate, Mr. Derby, please, Mr. Derby, just give us a moment. Mr. Derby, please, just give us a moment. All right, because the board has not yet had an opportunity to formally ask questions or give comments after your appeal. So I want to give them an opportunity, all right, in the case that they do have questions or comments.
I'll just add a comment that I also pay the rental housing inspection program. I also have been cited by the city. These are rules that I don't even get to. Sitting on the housing board, I still pay them. I still have to uphold them. I still have to do all of them. So I understand your frustration.
I have never had an issue with paying. I have always paid the fees. My issue, without being upset, is the time frame. And there's a lot to cover here.
And that's, no, that's okay.
$30,000 outside renovation on this house, and the city wants me to do it. Listen, and you say 5, you're talking about 5 emails. I was aware that this house needed work, but the type of work that it needed about $30,000 worth of work, which I did, and I also am smart enough to understand it didn't need to be handled in a month or 2.
But I understand
That's
that.
my explanation. Is that you guys keep on saying it's got to be done by this date. It's got to be done by this date. And I'm just trying to explain that I've fixed up many properties in the past without any of the
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You have a motion?
This would have been fixed without all of these letters.
So, do you want me to do it? So I will just say,
And I've got a picture of the property. This is the roof of the property right before. It's ugly, but it's not, you don't tear this house down because it's got a roof this old. You remodel it, you renovate it.
correct.
I driving here, from Placer County, just driving here, you see all the hobos on the street.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that. It doesn't matter. That's my point is,
Why talk about tearing down my house? It's absurd. That's why I say this whole process.
because it says if you don't do it, that's what they'll do. That's what it says in the process. And it says that's what they can do. It doesn't say that's what they will do.
Anyways, 2 people could have stopped this. I told Milton in May of 2025, when I failed on that one item that passed everything else, dude, I know this house needs a new roof, it needs new siding, it needs all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna come back out here and it's like 30 days or 60 days. Come on, dude, it's hard to even get a contractor to come out here and say, you know what I mean? It takes longer than that. So my point is, from May, when he threatened that this is gonna go to building, what was it called, dangerous building in May of 2025, it's now March of 2026. It's been handled in 10 months. That's a pretty reasonable timeline. That's why I'm here explaining to you today. This house is one of the best looking houses on the street today. 10 months ago, it was probably one of the worst homes, but there was others that look similar. I didn't need all of the paperwork from the city telling me that I needed this work. That's when I want to just make that very clear.
No, I get that. So
That's honestly.
I will say, and it's for the time that it took from February of 2025 through now. And that's why at this time, I'm going to go ahead and recommend confirming the total charge of $1,725.30 for the notice and order and fees on the property is 2204 Sandcastle Way, APN 274037202100000.
Second.
Fisher,
Yes.
Tablian,
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Derby, we did find in favor of the city, confirming the total charge of $1,725.30. You will receive all of this information in the mail with any next steps that you can take.
The city owes me money, and it's funny, they charged me too much taxes in 2023 on this property. You can look it up, they did it to many other people. And that's a nice scam that they got going, because there's a list on the website that the city shows all these people that they owe money, and they owe me money. Rather than just mail me a check, they choose to keep it. You guys, I'm not paying this money. Trust me, I'm not paying this money. Something's gonna happen, but I'm not getting scammed by you guys anymore.
Thank you, Mr. Derby. Item number 6. Case Inspector Matthew Sartain for 133 Redwood Avenue. Appellant Ewan Wallace. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Yes, thank you. The secretary will swear you in.
If I could have all parties for item number 6 for the property located at 133 Redwood Avenue, please raise your right hand and answer the following question. Do you solemnly swear under penalty of perjury that the testimony and evidence that you give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Sartain, please begin.
Yes. Agenda item 6, case number 25-029621. Property owner Wallace. I don't want to do any disservice to your name. I'm sorry. Property address 133 Redwood Avenue. Parcel number 275-001-402-20000. Hearing date 3/11/2026. City staff is me, Matthew Sartain. This case opened on 8/4 of 2025. Current case status is open. 9/3/2025, I arrived at the property and was allowed entrance to Unit B by the tenant. I verified that the heater and stove were gas-operated units. There was no meter at her unit, only the front structure. I requested a preliminary letter. 11/5/2025, I arrived at the property. The tenant at Unit B said she still does not have gas at her unit. There had been no response from the owner. I sent a notice and order, cloud, and title. On 1/8/2026, I returned a call to the owner. He said that the tenant is moving out soon and that he will resolve the issues after the tenant is out. I let him know that a permit will be required either to obtain a gas meter or convert it to electrical. Permit RES 2423892 to relocate existing gas house line to a new meter location was finalized 12/10/2024. So this predated the case. This permit was for work done by PG&E. There'd been no other permits for work since that time. Permits required to install an electric water heater. The staff recommends confirming the total charge of $1,597.50 for the notice and order on the property known as 133 Redwood Avenue, APN 275-001-402-20000. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wallace, please state your appeal.
I'll try to make this quick since we had to go through what we just went through, so I'll try to make it quick. How are you doing today? Well. I'm right. Opening statement. Good evening. My name is Ewan Wallace, owner of property 133 Redwood Avenue, Sacramento. I'm here regarding the administrative cost recovery related to the gas shutoff and heater issue at the property. The timeline and events was September 24th, 2024. Tetra Tech Pipelines contacted me requesting permission to perform gas construction work on Redwood Avenue. Late December of 2024, gas service was shut off by PG&E after excavation work occurred on the street. PG&E locked the gas service off for safety and issued a hazard notice. Within a week and a half, I attempted temporary electric hot water solutions for the tenant. January 18, 2025, I installed an electric hot water heater and converted the unit to electric service. The issue with hot water was fully resolved. These are just some key points that I have. The notice and order states that the heater was not working due to no gas supply. The gas service has been shut off by PG&E following pipeline work occurring on the street. I was not provided written document identifying a pre-existing leak or owner negligence. I acted to correct the issue and resolve hot water by installing a electric hot water heater. The documents I have with me today is notice and order packet from the city. The next one is PG&E hazard notice red tag. The next one is text message from Tetra Tech regarding pipeline work. The next one is receipt showing purchase of electric hot water heater and work being done. Also, the next one will be any photos and confirmation that the heater was installed as of today, and right after took about two months to get it installed. Closing statement: because a violation listed in the notice and order was related to the loss of gas supply, and I acted to correct the issue by installing an electric hot water heater, I respectfully request that the board reconsider or reduce the administrative fees.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Any questions or comments from the board?
Yes. I think I'm confused and I'm not sure who to look at to answer this question, so I'm just going to, let's start with the city. Inspector Sartain. Is this a PG&E shutoff or was this due to issues at the house?
I believe the original was that they shut, it's probably the whole street they worked on. Yeah. So, yeah, they usually do that where if they're replacing full lines in neighborhoods, they'll shut it down. They'll obtain their own permit to replace one. The ones I've dealt with in the past when I was on the regular building inspector side, I didn't deal with too many where it had an ADU in the back. So in this case, this is technically what it is the front house still had its gas meter, but the ADU in the back did not. They did plumb to it. You could see, I believe I have a picture in here where it shows where a meter would be. I'm not sure why there isn't a meter there now, but because of that, there's no service to that unit.
So
But that was in 2024 also.
okay, but I mean, technically, does that unit, the back unit gets feed from the front unit. So whether or not there's a separate meter, are they two separate livable units that are being rented out separately?
Correct.
So basically, you're saying that any gas used in the back unit before it was turned off was being billed to the person in the front unit?
I'm not sure what was there before, but the way it looks now is it does have a spot where a meter would be. So usually, the ones I inspected before, they would only pipe to what had been there before. So I would assume that there was a separate meter there before, and it was two separate lines going to the same parcel.
So, Mr. Wallace, can you explain, maybe shed a little bit more light on the history of this?
What basically happened is that I have text messages and stuff from Tetra Tech and from DW Plumbing, along with PG&E. They were trying to get a hold of me. I live in Bay Area, and I'm a single-time father, full-time father. So the mail sometimes, long story short, basically they reached out to me and said they wanted to do some work. So when they did that, they confirmed and they said if they would mess up anything, they would pay for it. I should have got that in writing and everything like that. Everything was perfectly fine. Both the units have different tenants. Well, they had different tenants, and I'm going through a court case with the tenant in the back. And so basically, everything was working properly. The gas was working. Everything was working properly. And basically, when they came to do work, they shut off the gas. They had no alert before they shut off the gas. They shut off the gas to do the work. When they shut back on the gas, the digging that they did, I guess they hit a pipe, or that's my opinion, is that they hit a pipe and they said that the pipe was rusted, and now they got an alert and they have to shut down the back unit and shut off the gas. But before they came, everything was working properly fine, perfectly fine. So they just kind of like just left me hanging.
So, go ahead.
A quick question. Was there a meter at the back in this location? Same?
Yes, there was.
To that? Okay, so there was 2 meters. Okay.
Yes.
And who removed the meter, the second meter?
Tetra Tech. And
So Tetra Tech.
Plumbing, through contract to PG.
When did they do this?
They did it around December 24th, around that time.
December 24th of 2025?
Of 2024.
Oh, 2024. Okay, so then so that unit had been without gas for about 9 months then.
No, because I got it fixed in January next year. So they shut it off in 12/11/2024, and January of 2025 I got it reverted to a 220 plug, and I got a new hot water heater.
So you put a new hot water heater, but it was electric. Yes. So you basically ceased all gas operations to the back unit.
Yes, because I didn't have the money to dig up that hole and they were basically telling me if I can't prove what they did, then it was just that, and I had to dig up like a football field.
Okay, so now I'm even more confused, and maybe it's just me. So what's the issue then if they...
The rear unit was based off of a gas unit, so the stove, the heater, and the water heater at the time were all, and they still are, other than the water heater, off of gas. So the tenant...
How are they running?
The tenant that was staying there had no hot water, no stove, and no heater.
Okay.
That's why I got called in.
Mr. Wallace?
I hate to say this, but I'm pretty sure the tenant called him.
And that's fine. They're allowed to.
Which is fine and dandy.
Yeah.
And I'm going
I mean, that's why we have these programs. If the tenant's living without hot water, able to cook or heat, that's why I would have loved to tell the last person the same thing. That's why we created these programs. Or we didn't create them, but the city and the county did.
I totally agree. But it seems like when she alerted him, it was through like eviction. So it was like, and I have a court case with her on the 24th for the trial. But both units were off. I don't know, it kind of threw me for a loop because it was like my brother was telling me to let them do it, and they were telling me that they were going to do it no matter what. It was mandatory for them to switch the meters. They were basically switching the meters from the alleyway to the front of the house to the main street. and they just put like pipes all over the side of the house when they switched it. So when they had did that, he had called me and told me that both units was out of gas at first. So that's what threw me for a loop, because then as I talked to him on the phone, he's like, okay, we got the gas back on in the front unit, but we can't get it back on in the back. And I'm like, huh? Like he's like, oh, I'm trying to help you, and you don't sound pretty happy, and this. And I'm like, huh, you guys came here and just damaged things, and then like, you're leaving.
And that was PG&E. So the tenant in Unit B filed a complaint after PG&E completed this work that cut the gas.
Yes, because when they did the work, she was like this with me, and she's like, I'm not going anywhere. I want to stay here. This. So this was my first time. I'm first time owning a house. So I was like, let me just basically try to get the work done and try to just get it done. So I ordered some stuff like off of Amazon for her to have a hot shower, and I ordered like some 2 gas stove like tablets for her to cook on. And she's like, I'm not leaving for nothing. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna ride it out with you. And then I ended up just getting the work done like within like 3 months. So she had hot water.
The problem is, and if I'm reading this correctly, the work is still open, the permit, right? This case is still open?
The case is still open. There's been no permits pulled, so a permit will be required to change anything over to electric. So even if it's just a full replacement of the water heater, it alters the system, and it requires a permit for that. If you were to not have gas at this unit at all, you would have to more than likely upgrade your panel. But everything with that would require a permit.
So do you understand, at least now I have a better idea of why, and I get that you converted it because, but I'm seeing that the reason is that you didn't pull the permits to get this done. So you, in the city's eyes, and if I'm saying this right, you illegally added 220 or electrical, which again, I get why you did it, but they opened this case 8 months ago. And so the case is still open. I mean, it looks like they started this case around September of 2025. Okay. So 7 months ago. So what is the long-term plan here? Because like we'd mentioned on the first case, you're going to continue receiving those $300 and something $380 monitoring fees.
So my question is, how do I go about the situation? Because the work is done, but I didn't get a permit.
So you have to pull a permit, but you have to work with him because, first of all, we don't work for the city, and even I'm not smart to know that stuff. I have to pay, like, I'm not good at that. I just know I have to pull permits, and then I have the work done. But that's what this entire open case is about, is that they just want you to permit the work that's done.
Okay. I believe I have your email, and I'll just email you again the options, because you still have the option if you got a contractor and they said it's cheaper to just switch back to gas and get the meter back in, you could switch back to gas. If you wanted to convert to electric, that's another option as well. So you got a couple of different options, but I'll walk you through that process via email.
Inspector Sartain, when is his next monitoring fee due? Or when do you plan?
It was due about a month ago, right when I got the notice.
Have you issued it right now? I mean, when was the last one you issued, I should say?
It was in December.
December, okay, so it's been almost 3 months. All right, before I make mine, I will open it back up to any other questions.
Actually, it was just the notice and order on this property. I've not sent anything else because he started talking to me, and I was working with him because he was saying that the tenant was moving out and that he was going to work towards completion of the project.
So you haven't issued any monitoring fees?
Just the notice and order in November.
So, sir, just so you're aware, I want to make sure you understand what he's basically said is the city, once they open this case, they are allowed to issue a $380 fee every month that you don't address this issue. And he hasn't issued any of those fees so far.
Additionally, usually we do admin penalties at $1,000 plus.
I know, that one I'm very aware of.
Yeah, I would just say you're kind of making it from bad to worse, because you start out with no gas service, which is more health and sanitation, make it substandard, and you've moved it to a dangerous building because now there's electrical work and such done without permits that we don't know as if it's safe or not. And if you do upgrade all of it to electrical, now you're talking about the sub-panel or main panel, all the wiring. So it's kind of, now you're taking it to a dangerous building case instead of a substandard case.
So basically, I have to get the work done fully.
You need to get a
One or the other.
contractor.
But here's the thing, once you start the work and you show that you're working with the inspector, they usually will stop the monitoring fees. So if you pull a permit and start doing the work and just give him updates and actually just email him and let him know where you are in the process, they usually will work with you.
Well, it's more that I need the issued permit for the monitoring fees. The admin penalties can be subsided to some degree or entirely if we're working together. So that's why I've been giving you the benefit.
So go ahead.
Before I just want to get clarity. You installed the electric heater in response to what PG&E had done in the front of the house, right? In the back. So they cut off the gas to the back unit. You, in a fixture to that, put in an electric water heater, which is at issue today.
Because it wasn't.
Because it was not one of the issues. In the gas, I'm guessing it's something with the gas line that's also at issue.
The gas is still not on, so there's no, at least the last time I was there was no heater or cooking.
But the gas has been off since PG&E came and did the construction.
Yes, I was basically upset with PG&E. So basically, I know I didn't have the money, and I put in claims, I put in everything, I text messages, chasing down many people. So I just went electric, and I found somebody to just install a hot water heater. He did the 220 plug. So my question is basically, what other work do I need to do for it to be finished?
So
Or do I have to pull the permits to just?
you'll have to work with him out of here because we're not, yeah. So right now, we're only going to talk about the case at hand.
I think this is unfortunate. I do.
Okay.
Because if PG&E had not screwed it up, then he would not have needed repairs. That's my.
Did you want to make a motion? All right, so let me just say, just since I'm going to say it out loud so the other two can hear at least my thought, whatever is happening or whatever motion is done, I am going to ask that whatever they do, they add 30 days to Inspector Sartain's, giving him an additional 30 days before any other monitoring fee is added. So I just want to make that clear that whatever, 30 days from today, thank you. She helped me.
I would ask the inspector, have you looked at this water heater wiring and what's there now?
Yeah, I had a picture of it in here.
Is there an immediate hazard?
No.
Okay.
There wasn't any open lines, and the service line to it was of a proper type.
So, yeah, go ahead. Oh, with it.
Okay, just one question. Is the unit currently occupied?
Yeah, I'm trying to get her out right now. I got a court date on the 24th.
Okay, so, and you're currently in like eviction proceedings with her?
Yeah, I got a trial coming up. Already did the unlawful detainer.
Okay. Thank you.
Board. I have the floor for the last several of them. You were the two that last said you had some opinions. I am leaving it to not run the. Yeah, I get it, it's on. It's required to be on anytime I'm speaking. We learned that also.
I had one more thing. While you guys thinking about it, I had one more thing. The notice packet also included a 3-day receivership warning, which seemed kind of unusual to be given. That listed violation was simply the heater not working due to the lack of gas supply.
Does somebody want to tell us what that means? Either Peter or Sartain? Oh, I think they've already done the lien on the property. That's what all of this is. Is that what you're asking? Yeah, that's what the That's why you're paying the lien costs here. They've put the termination fees to remove the lien, but they put a notice and order on your property because you haven't. So when you pay those, they'll remove the lien.
Okay.
So yeah, they have.
So with the notice and order, there's a notice of receivership. So what's basically the city saying basically is if you do not comply and the city escalates this and sues you, that they would ask the courts to take control of the property to correct the violations. So that's a measure of last resort, and we're nowhere near that.
It's permit. I mean, we had the permit from PG&E, so the work was done. It's not like he's making this up. Yeah, I think we should. This is tough. Better talk in the mic.
Trouble in a minute. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, y'all can vote this up or down. I'm going to adopt.
Okay, well, let me get this on the record. Prior to PG&E performing repairs to the lines, the gas in the unit was working fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
PG&E came and messed it up.
Thank you for that information.
Go ahead.
I'm going to recommend that the board adopts the decision confirming the total charge of $1,000 for the notice and order on the property known as 133 Redwood Avenue, APN number 275-001-402-20000.
Plus the 30 days?
Plus an additional 30-day window from today before any additional fines are accrued.
Second.
Clarify, monitoring fee and admin penalty, 30 days?
Yes.
No fee or
No fees.
Yeah, I mean,
No
he
fees,
said it, but my intent was no fees.
No
for
fees.
30 days to give him time to get a permit.
Yes.
Thank you.
I accept differently.
Okay, Fisher
Yes.
and Tablian?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Wallace, we did find in favor of the city. However, considering the circumstances, we decreased it from $1,597.50 to $1,000. You'll receive this information in the mail with any next steps you can take. Please work with Mr. Sartain to correct this issue. And thank you for your time today.
And I will just add, after 30 days, he can start issuing those $380 fees. So pulling the permit, the way he says, I only know, I don't know any of the building stuff, so I just know I have to sign the permit. So he's going to be your expert.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time. Thank you for understanding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Items 7, 8, and 9 will be heard together but decided separately. Case Inspector Matthew Sartain, 3624 Willow Street. Speaker Raj, please give me your last name.
Lakdawala.
Lakdawala. All right. Please direct your attention to the secretary for swearing in.
Can I have all parties for items number 7, 8, and 9 for the property located at 3624 Willow Street? Please raise your right hand and answer the following question. Do you solemnly swear under penalty of perjury that the testimony and evidence that you give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Inspector Sartain, please begin.
Agenda item 789, case number 25-036996, property owner Sangha Manjidir Kaur. Property address 3624 Willow Street, parcel number 252-016-102-40000. Hearing date is 3/11/2026. City staff, Matthew Sartain, that's me. Case opened on 9/22/2025. The current case status is closed. Let me see. Summary abatement on 11/14/2025 was to remove sewage and tarp underneath structures. So that is to remove the sewage and then put a tarp down for servicing. 2/1/2025, 2/2/2025, and 12/5/2025 were to stop the DWV system from leaking and to drain properly. 9/18/2025, I received an email about sewage flowing out from the building onto the sidewalk and gutter. When I arrived, I verified that the leakage was coming from 3624 Willow Street. I spoke with a few sewer district employees who said they spoke with the owner and that he had a plumber coming out as soon as possible. I called the owner, Raj, and the property manager, Baldeep, leaving messages for both saying to call me back, and I let them know about the severity of the issue and the importance of a quick response. I then emailed them again, explaining the issue and letting them know that if the matter is not resolved timely, the city will correct the issue with the cost being sent to the property. 9/19/2025, I arrived at the property and met with the plumber hired by the owner to repair the leak. He explained that someone used a snake to clear the line and broke the drain lines under the structure. He discussed his plan to build a new main drain line, then tie into the existing line, which would allow the residents to continue using their units. He said it would take several days to complete. I gave him my card, told him to have the owner contact me. He then, at that moment, called the owner, put his phone on speaker. The owner explained that he had received several calls from different people in the city and didn't realize that he did not call me back. He explained that he understood the severity of the issue and that he will keep me updated. 9/22/2025, I called the owner and left a message asking for an update, verifying his email, and reminding him that a permit will be required for the emergency change out of the drain line. 9/29, I called the plumber, who said that he'll be working on the system for the next couple of days and then will contact me when the work is complete. 9/29/2025, I returned a call to Baldeep, who asked how to apply for the permit. I asked him to verify his email. I then emailed directions and scope of work for a permit. 10/9/2025, I called and left messages for the plumber and property manager. I then arrived at the property and verified that there is still standing liquid under the structure. There was no sewage running onto the sidewalk or gutter. There had been no response since I called at 8 a.m., so I sent for a notice and order, cloud, and title. 10/13/2025, I posted the notice and order at the front of the property. 10/17/2025, I arrived at the property to verify the work was completed. There were items, ladders, and boards covering the crawl space, but I could still hear running water. There were no signs of liquid running onto the sidewalk or gutter. As a quick note, there was a sump installed, so the broken drain line was being filled by the sump, so that was the running water sound. I called a plumber and left a message letting him know what I had found. 10/31/2025, I arrived at the property. I verified that there is still standing liquid under the fourplex. I contacted City Sewer and let them know that the issue has not been resolved. 11/5/2025, I called Andre from Gray Construction. I let Andre know that the issue with the property and asked for a timeline for repair. He said he would have a plumber meet him at the property and give me a call back. 11/7/2025, I returned a call to Gray Construction, who said their plumber noticed several issues with the waste system under the property, but will need to drain the liquid from under the property before being able to fully evaluate what needs to be done. I explained to Building Inspector Supervisor Pearson the situation and got approval for Gray to move forward with the project. 11/17, I sent an email to Andre from Gray Construction giving approval to start the plumbing repair as soon as possible. I sent an email to Baldeep letting him know that the city has hired a company to resolve the violations and that the cost will be sent to the property. 11/25/2025, I received an email from Andre. He explained the work had been completed from the original assessment, but he had found other issues such as a clogged sewer line. 11/26, I responded giving approval for the clogged sewer line per Supervisor Pearson. 12/2/2025, I received an email from Andre saying the plumbing under the Unit 3 had been recently cut off and was dumping sewage under the structure. He then gave a bid to correct the issue. 12/4/2025, I received approval from building inspector, supervising building inspector Liker, and sent an email to Andre to confirm. 12/8/2025, I received an email from Andre confirming the work was completed and that the system was functioning without leaks. Staff recommendation that the board adopts a decision confirming the total charge of $17,377.50 for the notice and order on the property known as 3624 Willow Street, APN 252-016-102-40000.
Thank you, Mr. Sartain. Mr. Lakdawala, please begin.
So myself is one of the partners of four for the property, just to let you guys know my position. I guess the entirety of it is a request in reduction or of the fees because it sort of took on, and Buldeep is actually with the property manager and one of the partners. So the discussion went back and forth, and we had one of our plumbers there doing the work. And on top of this assessment from the city, we also have the utilities sending us a bill for $9,000 for sewage spillage or the cleanup of the sewage, which is another issue that I'm going to have to look into. Just to give you some context, so we were going back and forth with the inspector. Well, my partner was. We had the plumber there on site. He assessed it. We found out that again it was some PVC piping underneath the crawl space that had given away and corroded away, whatever the case is. To our knowledge, and we're in the Bay Area, so our plumber was updating us with pictures, and we were paying for new ABS piping and whatnot from Home Depot to make the changes. And according to us, we were told that end of September the project was completed, and that's when the inspector had told my partner that, hey, you guys need to pull the permit. So I believe an email was sent out to my partner in terms of the procedures of how to pull an emergency permit. He went ahead and attempted to do that. There were some issues and some changes with the permitting office where some people were changing offices, so there was a delay in response, going back and forth. And then finally, I believe Buldeep received the email back. I believe Matt was going back and forth with my partner as well. And then on 11/17 is when we were told, or when he was told, that there's still a leak. And that sort of contradicts the water was taken out or was removed, and the reports from the utilities department in their invoice indicates saying that the water was reduced substantially because of whatever the plumber was doing. At that point, on the 17th, the 17th, the email was sent out when Buldeep had reached out about the procedure or the status of the permit, and that's when Matt had informed him that nothing was done. And we're like, no, it should have been done. And he's like, we're going to be calling out someone to fix the problem. But from the end of September to November, we were never informed that nothing was done, or that the next step would be that we're going to call someone out to get it done, and you guys are going to be forced to pay for this and whatnot. At this point, it was like they did this stuff, and our guys apparently did it. And then going back and forth with that, they also did additional repairs, as Matt had mentioned, in November. So we have a few invoices all the way up to December. And then I believe in January, one of the tenants, who is now on a 60-day notice, and we're waiting for her to leave, did also make another complaint saying that they have another plumbing issue where Matt got involved. And at that point, it was the same situation, that apparently this construction company already replaced out the vent, which we apparently already paid for. And when Matt had reached out, he had requested, and we had another plumbing company come out and bill us another $1,000 to sort of assess it. And they said, well, we can't come in from the roof to drain it out because it's too brittle. And you need to sort of change out the piping on the bottom. So we're at an awe on who did what and what was actually done. I still have piping and stuff like debris that are left behind on the property site. So it's kind of confusing on who actually completed repair. If it was an actual, it seems more of my guy's kind of work, just to sort of not clean up behind himself, than the construction company coming and actually doing it. And then I have multiple different invoices from the construction company apparently doing stuff that, one after another. If they already, the trenching out, I understand the first cleanup, but the trenching out was done after the fact. Well, that was already it should have been already billed out and invoiced out during the first time. And then there was another visit. I mean, all this stuff should have been, it's only 4 units, so all this stuff should have been visible to any kind of contractor who goes down in the crawl space to see the visibility of the piping out there. So it's at an awe on why we're getting, so many bills when we thought we were doing the work, and they also said that. And also going over their invoices, I noticed the other day that they had mentioned gray water in multiple different descriptions there. The construction company themselves were pumping out the gray water in multiple things, and we're also being told there was sewage water. So for when I went there to the property with my partner, we had saw the water standing there, and it's a crawl space, so it was definitely gray water because it didn't have any smells. If not, my tenants would have been on my rear to sort of get us out there and sort of complained about it. But it was just gray water. So I'm sort of trying to figure out if it was gray, if it was according to the contractors. So, I mean, the work was done. It's a who did it type of situation, but, we have invoices from their side. I just have someone telling me they did it, and I have receipts from Home Depot with the piping concerns and purchases. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to see if there's any kind of reduction on fees, because first, there was no kind of heads up that if you guys don't get it done by X amount of date, we're going to get it done ourselves and send you a nice little bill. And that's my concern. We're into it with this $17K along with the utilities, $9K. Top it all off, tenants not paying their rent and have eviction notices sent out, and we're just out.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
So just looking at Inspector Sartain's first, on 9/18, when I arrived, I verified the leak was coming from the property. I spoke with a few sewer district employees who said they spoke with the owner and he had a plumber coming out. He then called the owner, Raj, and the property manager, Baldeep, leaving messages for both saying to call him back and to know about the severity of the issue, of the importance. I then emailed them, again explaining the issue, letting them know if the matter is not resolved timely, the city will correct the issue with the cost being sent to the property. So they did notify you. You're saying they didn't.
Well, they notified us at that time. We already had a plumber out there. So from that first week we had a plumber out there changing out the piping and whatnot.
But then he attempted to call the owner or email the owner numerous times between September, October, November, and no responses. So obviously they gave you the opportunity to do a severe job, which they said, this is severe, this needs to get done. We're going to send somebody out. Why didn't you respond to any of their emails?
Well, my partner takes care of this particular property, so I did get a couple of voicemails from Matt itself, and as soon as that came in, I had forwarded it over to him, and I believe he was in touch with my partner. But my partner also was talking to utilities apparently, and a supervisor, on-site supervisor, which we're still trying to figure out the name. And the other caveat is that when we get a call from Matt itself, it comes from a private number, so a lot of the calls go straight into voicemail, which is unfortunate. And, the voicemails that we do get, I operate hotels, so I get, calls all day long, and unfortunately, I don't get to it in a timely manner. And if I do get the voicemail, I'll forward it over to my partner, who I oversee another property. So we sort of divvy up the properties that we do own in the city.
But it sounds like he didn't actually follow up with him. I mean, when was the communication? It sounds like from
Communication was a little bit sporadic because there was time when he initially did respond.
Yeah, I see the initial, but then after that initial response, I'm not seeing.
That's why we went that route. And then later he started responding. There was a second case that opened up, same property, Unit 3, just like he said. And Baldeep was all over that one, and they took care of it, and I didn't have to do any penalties or anything.
Okay, so my bigger concern here is, I mean, from day one, they told both the owner and property manager that they are going to address this if you don't.
Right.
It sounds like he just maybe didn't follow up, your partner.
Right, but we did have a plumber out there to start pumping the water out and to start making the changes. On 9/26, I have pictures from my plumber with the new installation of the new ABS piping. So under our assumption, it was done, and then we didn't hear back till a month or 2 months later from Matt saying, hey, it's still not done yet. We're like, no, it was already done, but between that, there was nothing saying that, hey, it's still not done, is what I'm trying to say. Yes, the initial contact was made, and we were informed that, if we don't do it, it'll be done by us. But at that point, that's what prompted our plumber, for us to send out a plumber to sort of clean up the mess and do damage control and sort of assess the situation.
Okay. Well, and to address the issue for the fees, on this, I'm only looking at a 1360, 190, and 4750. Those are the only fees that they're citing you. The 15,500 is the work performed by the contractor.
Right.
So those aren't fees that, I mean, that's a contract that they, the city, have already paid since they couldn't get the plumber to do the emergency work. You said you thought they did it, but obviously they documented through pictures here showing the work didn't get done. So it sounds like you may have hired a plumber to do the work, but they didn't finish the job, but you thought they did, right?
Correct. That's what it comes out to right now. But then the second situation was that the unit number 3 was another, I believe, where Great Construction billed us at 2,000. That was the last invoice. And that
Wait, hold on one second. I just want to confirm. Are we dealing with unit 3 right now?
That is part of it. So
This is part of it.
it's because there was three, I believe it was three separate.
There's 3 separate, but I can't, it looks like it's 1877, 1980, and then I'm assuming the 13520 is more or less for the gray construction.
It was one of the,
there was 3 invoices from Great Construction, just
Correct.
to clear up.
Oh, okay.
Amount. And one of the number 3 issue was apparently repaired by Great Construction as well, which is what is concerning, because if it was already repaired by Great Construction, same problem again a month
well,
later.
for that one, what their statement was that they had completed that work, but when they went back down there, it had been altered. So they said when they came back to the property to finish up, that line had been cut and left open. My assumption, especially after seeing what happened the following month with the tenant, was that they might have been clogging the line and just figured out a way so that they can use their plumbing. That's my assumption.
Okay. Go ahead. I don't have any questions.
Mr. Sartain, just a question for me. Was a permit needed when his plumber stated that he was doing the work? I believe that was around September 19th, 2025. Would they have needed a permit at that time to do the plumbing work underneath the fourplex?
Yeah, so the plumbing work, this definitely requires a permit. The difference is that if it's an emergency so that we can get people living and not sewage going into the streets, I allow them to get the work done without a permit to prevent that. Once the work is completed, they have 24 hours to obtain a permit.
Thank you.
Did that contracting company ever pull a permit?
No.
So it sounds like you hired a company that didn't.
We were pulling this permits ourselves. We did it.
You didn't, though.
The owner can pull their own permits as well.
We were my partner was in talk with Matt in regards to what the procedures are to get that permit. And as I mentioned, there were some changes in the permit department, so that got lagged. We got some email addresses and just went back and forth. And then finally, my partner had followed up with Matt saying, hey, what's going on with this? And he's like, nothing's been done. We're sending someone out.
I mean, I'll be honest, it sounds like there was a ball dropped on your partner's side, because it looks like on here, communication was attempted numerous times, and it happened 9/18, 9/19, 9/22, 9/29, 9/29, 10/9, 10/13, and 10/17.
Right.
So they attempted several communications to your partner, and it appears that they were letting them know that we're going to do this work. This is emergency work, which was explained and documented in email on the very first day.
Correct.
But it sounds like you thought the contractor you hired that did it without a permit did it, but they also didn't pull a permit, so none of the work actually got done. So did you hire like a licensed contractor to do this work?
It was a subcontractor of a licensed contractor, yeah.
Okay.
It's one of our handymans that does work for us, or did work for us. But I'm not saying that the contact wasn't there and we weren't notified of it, but my issue is that we were notified at first and we sent someone to fix it. But then the thing is that from the time of like end of September when we thought it was completed to November when we're still trying to take care of the permit process of it because the city wanted the permits to make sure everything was done, there was no kind of communication saying, hey, if this is not done yet, now we're going to send someone in.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
you literally said he did, it just was a private number and he left voicemails that you just didn't return in time.
Nothing in terms of if you don't do this. There was voicemails for follow-up, so we were constantly, my partner was
Okay.
constantly in contact with Matt in terms of updating him what's going on and where we are with it. And my concern is not, I know that it was, obviously, if we don't do the work, it's going to be done first. But my thing is that we thought it was done, and end of September, we got pictures from our guys saying it's done. But then all of a sudden in November, we just get saying, hey, no, we're sending someone out. So there was no like, hey, it's not done yet. We're going to, and from that email to Matt on the 17th of November, there was no response back saying, because my partner had emailed it back saying that our guy had informed us that it's already completed, and then there was nothing back. And then we just get a bunch of, invoices in the mail.
I get it. However, are there other fees that are outside of this, Inspector Sartain?
On this case, I believe it was just the notice and order and the invoices.
Okay.
The appellant's voicing that at the end of September, he believed that the work was done, and there was no communication after that. But the notice and order wasn't even issued until the middle of October.
Yeah. No, I agree. Obviously, the onus is on the owner's side on this one. And it sounds like there was some miscommunication between their contractor that they had hired and the work getting done. But to be honest, this started in September. It was an emergency issue. And even then, it took numerous call attempts over several months and finally got done in November, end of November.
By the city. We had our plumber there the next day.
That didn't do the work, though. Like, you can have them there, but if they're not going to do the work, what's the point? Like, if they came back, he literally says that he came back and did an inspection, and there was, what was it? There were ladders and other material blocking the area where the leak was actively still happening.
But that was above the crawl space. There was no one that actually went in the crawl space to see the situation, if it was complete or not. So I have actually pictures from timestamps on 9/26 that the ABS pipes were put in along with receipts from Home Depot. So what I'm trying to say is that it was done for my guy, but maybe there was another problem or whatnot. But I guess that's what I'm saying. We did do the initial part of it, but then the secondary part of it, because there was no one that went underneath the crawl space to actually assess to see if it was completed or not, because there was some gray water that was still there.
Correct. But the job can't be done partially. So obviously, when they saw there was still a leak, they had to pay somebody to do the job if they couldn't get a hold of you to do the job. So I don't have any questions.
And I guess the other thing is if I may request the board to sort of see if we can put a payment plan on something.
Yeah, and that I'll definitely, when it comes to. But I have no questions from me. No questions. Okay, and I apologize, I understand the severity, but I'll also, as a property owner here in Sacramento, I'll definitely recommend that we get a payment plan set up with you tomorrow. But in the meantime, it does sound like the city did their due diligence in trying to contact numerous times, and Inspector Sartain documented that very well in the report here. So I will say, I will start, since this is broken into three, I will do this all separately. So I will, for item number 7, confirm the total charge of $1,877.50 for the notice of order on the property known as 3624 Willow Street, APN number 252016102400000.
Second.
Fisher,
Yes.
Tablian.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you.
And for number 8, confirming the total charge of $1,980 for the property known as 3624 Willow Street, APN number 252016102400000.
Second.
Fisher,
Yes.
Tablian.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
On item number 9, confirming the total charge of $13,520 for the property known as 3624 Willow Street, APN number 252016102400000.
Second.
Fisher,
Yes.
Tablian.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
So, Mr. Lockdewala, we did find in favor of the city for all the expenses incurred. You will receive formal documentation in the mail regarding our decision and any next steps that you can take, which I believe that paperwork also includes payment plan information, if I'm not, or maybe not.
I can include it.
Okay, it'll be included in there.
Francis has it right there.
bringing
Oh, yes, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 10, Case Inspector Nick Tryon, 1416 22nd Street. Appellant speaker is, Mrs. Lueris? All right, thank you. Please direct your attention to the secretary to be sworn in.
I could have all parties for the property located at 1416 22nd Street. Please raise your right hand and answer the following question. Do you solemnly swear under penalty of perjury that the testimony and evidence that you give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you, Mr. Tryon. Please begin.
In the matter of 1416 22nd Street, agenda number 10, case number 25-013984. Property owner is Adam Loras. Property address is 1416 22nd Street, Sacramento, California, 95816. Parcel number 00702510130130000. City staff is Nick Tryon, myself. This case opened on April 15th, 2025. The case is still open. On April 8th, 2025, I arrived at a multifamily home to investigate the complaint. Upon arrival, I walked the exterior of the structure and observed dry rot on the exterior fascia, trim, and siding. I issued a prelim letter. Photos were added to the case. On May 22nd, 2025, I arrived at the property for a 30-day reinspection. Upon arrival, I observed no changes to the exterior of the property. I spoke to the property owner by phone, who asked for an extension. I informed him I will provide a 30-day extension to obtain the permits needed. Photos were added to the case. June 16th, 2025, I received a call from the property owner informing me that she still hasn't obtained a building permit. She stated that no contractor wants to do the work. She also stated that she will be selling the property. I informed her that during my next inspection in about a week, I will have to issue a notice and order if there is not a issued permit. I advised her that she, as the property owner, can obtain the permit, then find a contractor to do the work afterwards. She said she would obtain the permit. On July 2nd, 2025, I received a call from the property owner stating that she sent me an email on how to obtain a permit that I never replied to. I apologized and replied to her email with the steps needed to obtain the permit. August 19th, 2025, I arrived at the property for a 30-day reinspection. Upon arrival, I observed no changes to the exterior of the property. I called the property owner to see where she was at with obtaining a permit. She stated she sent the application via email the previous week. I informed her that she's now due for a notice and order, but due to my delay in replying to her email, I will hold off until my next inspection. On September 26, 2025, I arrived at the property for a 30-day reinspection. I observed no changes to the exterior of the property. I see no activity in a cella to obtain a building permit. I have received no further communication from the property owner since I last called her. Due to the continued violation on the property, I issued a title report, cloud, and notice and order. Photos were added to the case. Notice of land pendants was properly recorded with the county on 11/20/2025. A prelim letter was sent on April 21st, 2025. The appellant has been given the information presented this evening. Staff recommends that the board adopts a decision confirming the total charges of $1,780 for the notice and order on the property known as 1416 22nd Street, Sacramento, California, 95816, APN 007-025-10130000.
Thank you, Mr. Tryon. Mrs. Lueris, please state your appeal.
As he had stated, I had told him when we spoke on the phone that I was trying to sell the building, and we did have a few people throughout the months that were looking at it, so we were waiting to see if we would get an offer, and we would just, let them handle the repairs, take it off the top when we sold it. Once we finally saw that this was going to take longer to sell it, I went through the process of getting the permit, but what the inspector didn't know is that I'm in the historic district, the preservation district, so I couldn't get the permit in a week. It took us about 3 to 4 weeks. There was a lot of back and forth, paperwork, pictures that they wanted. And also during that time, I'm talking to people, having them give me bids. No one will do the dry rot. It's up on the eaves without redoing the entire roof. So I had to get more than one bid. I had to get about 3 or 4. And then they went to pull the permit, but then we had to do the asbestos report. That took another 2 weeks. The whole time I was communicating with Nick via text, via email, saying I'm doing everything I can, but I can't move the people in the historic preservation any quicker. I'm also emailing and calling his boss just so that they know that I'm moving as fast as I can, but I can only do so much. So I did a very good job of communicating with him. And we finally did get the whole roof done, and we paid $45,000 to have everything done, the siding, the eaves, the roof. So that's why we're requesting that we get out of paying the $1,700 fee.
Thank you, Mrs. Luares. I'll open up the floor for the board to.
Yeah, I have a question. So you said you've done this already? It's done?
Yeah, it's done.
This is listed as still open?
Yes, on the day I was filing the permit, the tenant came outside and showed me additional violations that I couldn't see during my previous inspections.
Okay. So the roof and the siding is all done, but the case is still open? And when did you get the additional citations?
Within the past month.
Okay. Are you aware of the additional citations?
I am, but when we spoke on the phone, he told me that he wasn't going to make me get a permit because he had already closed my case out. But I've been communicating with him. We've already got half the work done that he saw. It was some porch work that needs to be done, and I have until the beginning of April to get that all done. And like I said, we've already got part of the work done. I've sent him photos. So
Okay.
I didn't realize the case was still open until I arrived here. I thought he had told me that it was closed.
I think he said the permit was closed, but the case is still open, it sounds like. I will ask then, so this case did open April 8th is when it started. And when did you first submit your application for a building permit? And if you don't know the date, I'm sure we can ask one of those two to look it in. What is it? Arcata? What?
Acela.
Excella, sorry. Do you know?
Probably in September. It was probably end of September, beginning of October. But I had reached out, as he mentioned earlier. I think it was June or July when I tried to do it, but I didn't understand how to do it in the email he had sent me, so I reached out again. And then I didn't get back to it again until he communicated with me for the second time in September.
Yeah, so my only concern is, at least on here, he gave you, which out of all of the building inspectors we've talked to today, he gave you 6 months, April, May, June, July, August. He gave you almost 6 months. We're talking about a week shy to pull the building, and it took 6 months to pull it. So I would understand if you, and that's why I ask, if you attempted to pull the building permit back in June, July, and you just couldn't get it because you had to go through all those hurdles, but he actually waited almost 6 months to file this notice and order. And that's when you attempted, whether you got the permit, that's when you applied for it. So that's my only concern, is he did give you and the tenant, because I understand, if, especially with the siding, bugs, animals could possibly get into the property through that. Okay, and then that work has been done, and so, okay, I think that's the only question I have.
The first record I show of application is November 20th.
November 20th is the first time it was submitted?
Correct. That one was submitted, and there was some work, and then it actually, the application actually went through in December.
Okay.
I have emails, though, that I'm working with the historic district as early as October 8th, when they're going back and forth with me, telling me what I need to do, and I think it's a historical preservation.
Yeah, so they told you, but you didn't submit the documents though until November.
But I had a lot of other documents. They had told me that whatever I had sent them was no good, and they needed photos, and they needed some other paperwork because I am in the preservation historical district. So whatever I gave them originally was no good, and I even have an email I sent to him. I said, they're asking me for photos, and I don't have any, so he was gonna get those to me. So that was like I said, that was a long holdup, going back and forth with them, probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Are you scheduled to do with the new work? Are you scheduled to do any monitoring fees?
I am. I told her I would give her time because these violations were just brought to my attention. I believe I told her the end of April. That is when I would start enforcement.
Okay. I mean, that gives about almost 2 months right now. So that's not a concern for me to add to anything. Okay. No other questions for me at this time.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Their motion?
So while she pulls that up, I definitely understand the issue. But again, we have to, as the board, have to take into consideration the time that's put into the city's effort to work with and contact you. And through the 6 months, there's not a single monitoring fee on here that we can see. So he could have added up to 3 additional monitoring fees, it looks like. October, November, December, January, and February, 5. He could have added 5 $380 fees on here on top of that. But it appears he did not enter. Am I correct, or are there other monitoring fees that are not here?
No, never issued.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
All right, motion to accept the staff recommendation that we are confirming the total charge of $1780 for the notice and order on the property known as 1416 22nd Street, Sacramento, California, 95816, APN number 00702510130000.
I second.
Fisher?
Yes.
Antablian?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Lueris, we did find in favor of the city confirming the total charge of $1,780. You'll receive documentation of our decision in the mail and any next steps that you can take. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tryon. All right. Item number 11, uncontested.
The following lines shall be heard as blanket items. City staff recommends that the board adopt a decision confirming the total charge noted by each agenda line for the expenses incurred by the city in the enforcement of the provisions of the Housing Code and/or Dangerous Buildings Code with respect to the property known by the physical address and/or parcel number, APN, as noted within each agenda line for item number 11, lines 1 through 17 and lines 19 through 208.
So move.
Second.
Fisher?
Yes.
Antablian?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
We're now on to item 12, election of chair and vice chair for 2026.
So I did ask for there was a question in January, and I think the staff attorney, or the board attorney, whatever.
That's right. So per the board commission and committee handbook, a sitting member of the board can serve up to 2 calendar years as either the vice chair or the chair. And again, that would be inclusive of both positions. And so if you've already served for 2 calendar years, irrespective of whether or not it's your first, second, or third term, you would not be eligible per the handbook.
Great confirmation. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
So that's the question I was just going to ask is who on this board, obviously I can't serve, so that means the only 2 people in this room, or both of them, are going to have to serve as one of the 2. He's currently the chair. Did you serve as vice chair before?
Yes.
And Barry's eligible as well.
So can we vote for him without him even being here? Can we just?
We're going to have to. I don't think we have a choice.
So we're both termed out then.
He's basically termed out, for lack of a better term. You're termed
So
out of being
it's
chair.
2 years cumulative, whether you're vice chair or chair.
Each, total.
Oh.
So 4 years total of like leadership within the,
Oh, I did 4 years? I didn't even know I'd been on the board, but for 5.
Let's get,
So the way that the rule is written, and again, I don't know how it's been applied in the past. I can't speak to that. But the way the rule is written, I can read it verbatim.
there we go.
Correct.
Give me one moment.
How long have you served as chair right now? 1 year. Oh, so you can go again. So you're not termed out then if he's going to say 2. Well, let's see what he says, but yeah.
Where's that "or" placed in this clause?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so reading it verbatim, officer election annually or as needed, commissions vote to select a chair and vice chair to lead the proceedings. And coordinate with staff, the important section is this: a member may serve as the chairperson or vice chairperson for no more than 2 calendar years. Now, again, it's written in a way that's somewhat ambiguous. The way I read it is that you can serve as either the chairperson or the vice chairperson for no more than 2 years, and I'm thinking of them collectively in that sense.
That's almost impossible if you serve 2 5-year terms and most of the board members stay, then you almost have nobody that can serve as chair and vice chair.
And I understand the concern. I will say I did not draft these rules. I can only speak to what the rules say.
You have to interpret the rules, right?
Right, and so am I correct to say that based on past practice, that members have served as 2 years as a vice chair, 2 years as a chair? That's been a past practice?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm maxed out.
Okay.
So how many years do you have combined then? Because it sounds like he could do 4 years in one. It's just a combination of the 2. Okay.
So a basic rule of contract interpretation, like law school 101. But if the terms of the contract are ambiguous, and we'll say that it's going to be true for rules as well, but if it's ambiguous, then past practice would govern. If in the past, that's the way we've interpreted and exercised that rule, I would advise that we stick to that.
Yeah, because I was going back and forth with the clerk's office today, and we're trying to figure that out. So the way that the clerk's office said was George is ineligible to serve as chair or vice chair because he has served in each of those capacities for 2 years.
Okay. But how long has he served? Like, can we keep him in the role? I'm saying
It depends on if
he's saying that
so
we
we're
can
gonna do
keep the 2 and 2.
Is that what it is?
Well,
Okay.
based off that interpretation, you have served 1 year in each of those roles, so you would, in theory, have 1 more year in each role that you're eligible to serve. Oh, you did 2 as vice chair?
That's what we're at. Like, that's what I'm curious.
Yeah,
How
because
long?
what is your tenure thus far? Yours?
5th year?
Well, on the board,
Yeah.
but as in the leadership positions, vice chair and chair.
I know. I thought you were vice chair for both for my, yeah. So I think you were vice chair for 2.
Okay.
I don't know how long you've been chair. Do you guys not have the? So are you fine if we, like, out of curiosity, are you fine do you want to be vice chair?
I mean, it would appear that this is the
It's either you or Barry. So
I'll be here, all right? I will be here in my tenure. I will be here serving through 2027. So if you would like that for continuity as well, because isn't Barry's term up soon? He got reappointed, okay. That's good to know.
So he has 5 more years, right? It's a 5-year term?
I was like, I thought this was a 4-year gig.
It was 4. Yeah, I think it's 2, 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
because mine was 5.
I'm fine with,
Did they also change how many terms you can serve?
you can only serve 2.
Still 2. So I'm out in
4 years.
2 years. I think I started in 2019. Oh, so no, 3 years. So I'm out in 2029 then.
Yeah, I'm out in 2029.
Okay. Okay, so
Being vice chair, if that is
they have
how
to-
this committee, we're not a committee.
Board.
Board, we are a board, thank you. Whatever this governing body is, that's fine.
So do we have to do them separately or do we do them together? So let's start with, if that's what you're fine with, I will make a proposal
Yeah, I was like,
to
I'm
keep
not nominating
him.
myself, that's,
To keep Brandon for another year or whatever we're supposed to say, another year, I'm assuming, or however many months will hit him at that 2 years as chair. So let's do that one first.
Yes.
So that first, I first it.
I second that motion.
Fisher,
Yes.
Antablian,
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
I guess I should have asked, are you okay staying?
I'm good.
Okay.
I mean,
Once we got
sorry,
it cleared up, I was like, I
it's
don't even know
it's a
how
2-1, so we would have had you anyway. Sorry.
So I will, okay.
Just a question. Do we know the tenure of Boyd for vice?
Well, he just got another, so he has 4 years, but I don't, oh, he served vice chair, right?
Yeah, he's never been chair, right? I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't matter because we're voting her. in.
Okay.
Or I'm going, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So I will make a motion for Clancy to be vice chair.
I second.
You're thirding it? No? Eventually, I'll get you to do it.
Fisher,
Yes.
Antablian.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
It comes with the pay raise.
No, it doesn't.
Board comments, ideas, and questions?
Yes, Mr. Lemos. Let me explain why I didn't want to say this. No, this is for your benefit. So I understand, and we've talked about this probably 5 years ago. When we make a change to something that's $1,000, that money that you're billing comes back to your department because those are the costs for you, right?
It returns to the general fund.
So it doesn't impact your department at all?
I have a revenue budget expectation for my department, correct?
So here's my concern. Anytime that we lower somebody's late fees by lowering the cost of this, that impacts you. So I would highly recommend that somebody make this board eligible to reduce late fees again. Otherwise, if we don't, the only way we have around that is to lower your costs to make up for those late fees. I don't think that's fair necessarily. I think waiving the late fees should come back to this board as an option. And I will ask the attorney, and again, Mr. Lehman, this is for your benefit. I want to make sure you get the credit. Your people are doing the work. So I want to make sure that we're giving your people the money that should be allocated to you. And I will ask Mr. Kim, who removed the ability of this board? How was that removed? Was it officially removed?
I'm not currently aware of the history behind that decision. That's something I would be able to look into, but I do not know at the moment.
Okay, I guess what I'm asking is, okay, you have it. Go ahead.
So the late charges are assessed by Department of Revenue. So they assess 20% on all city invoices. And previously, they charged a $20 fee, as you guys that have been here a while know. And those were added onto our fees, and our fees lean, so it wasn't that big of a deal that all those fees came here, and you guys included those in our fees, and they went through our process. When 20% came, and when your, fees that are coming to you guys are $1,500 and 20% on that, and these now are going to lean, those are affecting a lot of people, and so we're not bringing those to the board any longer that are now going to lean. The city attorneys reviewed that and said those fees should not go to lean on people's properties. So that's why they're not coming to the board, and those are not our fees. So we should not be presenting those to the board because they are not community development's fees. Those are Department of Revenue.
But if they're not technically, if the board is ruling that those fees aren't appropriate, we should then be able to give them another mechanism to go somewhere, because I don't want to cut his. He shouldn't be taking a penalty for this. His people did the work. The revenue did, the screwed it up. Okay, that's just going to piss people off even more. Correct. So they're getting more than a $500 discount because the $500 discount, I wasn't going to sit and do the math for that, but I get it. I do understand that they got a bigger reduction. So Peter, do you have any suggestions on how can you fix this internally? Because again, I'm trying to do this for your benefit. So if there's a way the board could help you, I'm listening. But if there's a way you can do this on the back end, I'm also happy to help you. But again, I want you to know this stems from making sure that you are made more whole than the revenue department.
Yeah, it's something we have to look into, see if they can, it's kind of a tough situation. Do we hold off the late fee until the determination of the board? But the late fee's on there already before it even comes to the board.
So there needs to be maybe a way that we can reduce the late fee or bring it back to them or something, or maybe you have a talk internally that you can fix it, or I don't know. But some of these people don't deserve the late fee. Like obviously she sounded like, I don't think she was lying. She went down there to make an honest payment. Whether she lied or not about it's possible. But I don't, again, my biggest concern is not penalizing your department for something that they shouldn't be penalized for.
Right, and you're only seeing it because you're seeing the invoice. Our appeal is only the base amount, not the late fee, because ultimately, like just all of these costs you just confirmed to send them to assessment, we're not assessing the late fees. So even though like it says $1,900, we're only assessing the $1,700 because that fee isn't assessable against the property taxes as a superior lien. So that's why we had a heartache also. It puts me in a bad predicament to say, I'm going to take it to assessment to the city council. We're going to assess a late fee onto your property taxes when actually it's not a fee that can be put on the taxes on those cases.
So what you're saying is if there's a $1,000 fee and you assign a $200 late fee, if that person pays the $1,000, the lien will be removed, but a $200 late fee will be there that can't attach to anything?
Correct. It goes, yeah, that goes to collection.
Oh, I was like, good to know, because if I'm ever late, I just don't pay the $200, but never mind. If it gets sent to collections, I'm still screwed, so.
Yeah, no, so it goes to collections because the notice and order fee is a hard cost. So
okay,
by state law and by the other codes, you can assess a tax lien against a property and recover your hard costs. So all these abatement fees that were just confirmed, the notice and order fees, the monitoring fees. Penalties are different. Penalties are not a hard cost.
I get that.
They are a personal obligation.
Again, I just want you to know where this is coming from in my thought processes. I don't want, because I'm sure there's reports at the end of the year of how much your team assessed, collected, whatever you want to call it. And if we're reducing those because finance is getting their money, it's not fair to you. So in my opinion, as an individual board member, if there's a way the board could help you, otherwise I highly recommend you try to fix this for your own.
Right, so the board has the right, give us direction to look into it.
Please.
Will do.
And I would recommend, if possible, just observing and noting if there has been an increase of like the types of issues and the late notice issues since the invoice changes, and that invoice noticing changes through the Department of Revenue, if that's like negatively impacted your department. And yeah, like it's not in order, just a note, curious if it is negatively impacting y'all, because like y'all are a downstream user of Department of Revenue. And if it is a negative impact, then that's to be noted.
Right, yeah, so like the case we heard this evening had a mailing address where the property owner is using that as their primary address, and in turn, there was an invoice months before, but it went to the property, and that person didn't have that in hand because they didn't have it, but they could have did a information request or asked for a copy of it.
Thank you. Any other board comments? All right, public comments? All right, adjourned.
Thank you.
It wasn't that bad.